Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another The Sports Scoop video. Today, we are continuing the NFL, or not continuing, we're actually starting back up NFL content. Obviously, been stuck on draft, not stuck, but on draft content for so long. But if you guys are NFL fans, you obviously know that the schedules have been released. They released week 1, and now all schedules, all games. I didn't even know there were 18 weeks, Suraj. Did you know that? There's 18
Well,
weeks
they had
of
to have a
football now.
bye because of the 17-game season.
No, it's 18. It says 18. I don't know. Whatever. I don't think there's 18 weeks, but I was looking at on Instagram because that
There are
team
18
posts
weeks,
it.
but there's 17 games, so one bye week.
Okay, I don't know. That's what I thought. So, okay. But today, as we are talking about here, we are talking and breaking down the NFL schedules, kind of top 10 games to look out for. We did this last year, so we're going to bring it to you guys again, kind of be giving you guys what we think the storyline, I guess, of the NFL will be throughout these 17 weeks. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Follow us on social media at The Sports Scoop, Twitter, and our Instagram. Without further ado, let's get to this breakdown. All right, so let's go on to game 1. We're gonna go from basically not 1 to 10. It's not really a list, just kind of least important to more important. Although all these games are like crucial games we think, but like we're gonna go 1. The last game we're talking about is the most important or most like crucial game we think of the season. Whatever, all of that. But game, number 10 is, and this might come to a shock out of, the 10th game that we have chosen, but it's Giants at Cowboys week 5, Sunday game, 4:25 p.m. And the reason I really, really like this matchup is because Suraj, if you guys have ever checked out our website, Suraj did post an article talking about how this division, the NFC East, is going to be a really, really good division, going forward. We obviously saw with the Giants, Cowboys, Washington football team, Eagles have done in the draft this offseason. They brought in a lot of talent. You're seeing quarterbacks come back third year, second year, and Dak's coming back off a terrible injury. And I think this game is going to be a really important game. It's week 5. You've already played 4 games. I think we'll see what Daniel Jones, if he's the option for the Giants. And then we'll see what Kenny Galladay's done. I think week 5 is kind of the week that you're like, all right, we know what these players can do on these teams. You've given them 4 weeks. If they haven't performed, they haven't. If they have performed, then we know they're going to be good. I just think it's a huge game. As a Giants fan, I'm excited because I think if this is a win, if we can beat the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium, I think it's a massive win. I think it is a very underrated game in an underrated division that I think people should be looking out for this year.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think it would be an extremely important win for a Giants team that, in my opinion, have a decently well-rounded roster in this NFC East division. I agree. I think when you look at this division, I think especially among the 3 teams, not including the Eagles, there is a lot of talent. I mean, an underrated amount of talent in the NFC East, and I feel like most of these teams have just like one piece that they need to click for this team to maybe go to the next level. For the Giants and football team, maybe that's like maybe some secondary help and a quarterback. Not for the Giants, but for Washington. For the Giants, it's a quarterback and some line help. For the Cowboys, it's just maybe a defense, which is more than one piece, I get. But I think this is a very, very talented division. I think this will be a very important game to decide who will be the top dogs in the division. And I know obviously Washington won't be competing this game, but I think the Giants and the Cowboys might be the teams that will probably most likely challenge. One of these will almost likely challenge Washington for the throne. I think it'll be a very exciting matchup to watch.
Daniel Jones is our quarterback, sir. I don't think we need a quarterback. Hopefully we don't. Probably. Spencer Rattler, come on. All right, let's get on to the second game, number 9. Right, Browns at Chiefs, week 1, Sunday, 4:25 p.m. This is gonna, I think, be the besides Cowboys Bucks, I think this game is gonna be the setting game and the game that people are gonna be like, all right, we're gonna see, if the Browns win this, we're gonna see obviously what Baker can do. Baker stepping into probably the biggest year of his career. Last year we saw this guy can win games. This guy can be the franchise guy. Patrick Mahomes is pretty good also. Just like to say that he's a pretty good quarterback. So I think it's a big game. I mean, it's 2 big teams, especially this Browns defense. I think is going to be a amazing defense going forward. I mean, really the division they're in is just scary. We've seen kind of teams like that who are on the brink last year. Obviously the Browns were even more on the brink. They were basically, if they beat the Chiefs, they could have been in the Super Bowl. And again, it's a rematch of that playoff matchup. So I think it's a huge game. I think if Baker Mayfield can win this game, I think it's going to be a decisive game for his career. We know Mahomes has not lost in September, 10-0 as a starter for the Chiefs. So I think it'll be a great game. Do I think the Browns will win? Maybe not, but that will be for our week 1 prediction. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Obviously, is that coming a lot later, but I think it'll be a great game to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think maybe, I know Buffalo's there, but to be honest, I think this is a matchup between maybe, who knows, the 2 best teams in the AFC in 2021. I mean, definitely, I think the Browns have maybe the most well-rounded roster in the entire AFC with all those defensive acquisitions and draft picks. And we obviously know how good their offense can be when it's on, which it was for the latter half of the season. So, especially, I think it's actually in Cleveland. So, in Cleveland with likely, there will be fans there. That is going to be a huge matchup in the AFC, which who knows, it could even be vital at the final game of the season. Obviously, Baker, they'll have a healthy OBJ, they'll have a healthy offensive line, defense will be healthy at the beginning of the season. I think it's going to be a very exciting matchup between 2 of the best teams in the league at full strength. So make sure that has to be tuned in for that game.
Yeah, sorry, it's in Cleveland. It's at the Chiefs.
Oh, it is?
At the Chiefs, yeah. Week 1 is away. Unless the Cleveland Browns got that wrong on their Instagram. It is at the Chiefs. So again, even tougher of a matchup for that Cleveland Browns team. But moving on to another game that I really, really like, and finally, already 3 games in, we're already talking about Super Bowl champions, which will kind of be a trend. We'll be talking about them a lot. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Los Angeles Rams, Week 3 Sunday, 4:25 p.m. game. This is a big one because I think by this point, at least we will see if Stafford can be the quarterback. And people are predicting a huge year. I am, and maybe I'm on that bandwagon from Sean McVay. Stafford has really all the weapons now. He has the defense, he has the offense, at least to some extent. He has the offensive line. He has one of the best coaches in the NFL, a top 5, top 3 coach. So I think here you're going up against the best quarterback ever. You're going up against a Super Bowl winning team that's, I'm assuming, is going to pick up just as they left off with that defense, with that offense. Obviously retaining every single free agent and every possible asset they had last year, even bringing in some steals in the draft. I think it's a big week. I think Kyle Trask will be starting. No, I'm joking. I think Matt Stafford, week 1, he's getting put into that prime time. I believe they're playing Thursday or Monday. I'm not sure, but he's in that prime time game. The NFL, as you'll see, the NFL is a smart organization. They have to notice that they are a TV program at the end of the day, so they're spreading out their teams and the good matchups, and I think this is going to be a huge one on Sunday. I think this is the game I will be tuned into at 4:25 in that second window.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be a very, very good matchup. I think this is easily Stafford's best team's ever been a part of. I think the Rams, really, when you look at it, they're a complete team. They have a very good defense, have a decent offensive line, great coaching staff, decent receivers. I think Stafford will be finally maybe at home with his offense. And I think going against a team as stacked as the defending Super Bowl champions, especially after bringing back all of their starters, it will be no easy task for him. But I think by that point, he may have settled in a bit more, which I think will obviously help Stafford and the Rams. And I think they're one of the teams I feel like could give the Bucs a run for their money in the NFC. So I think this is definitely a game to tune in for.
All right, let's look at another, and this, we're getting into the higher quality games, although all of these are very high quality games. Week 3, another Week 3 matchup, Sunday night, 7:20 p.m. Packers and at 7:20 it might be Central Time, so it's just whatever time, it's either 8:20. I think it is 8:20, but 7:20 Packers time because obviously they're in Wisconsin. But I think this will be a game in which we will see the 49ers and be like, okay, is this a game Trey Lance starts? Probably not. Again, unless Jimmy Garoppolo has, and I think again it's so hard to predict because we don't know what the storyline will be. Who knows? Maybe neither of those quarterbacks are starting if Trey Lance gets cut. We don't know. Well, obviously they spent that 3rd overall pick on him. Hopefully he is starting. Who knows? They said that the Trey Lance could be starting a lot sooner than we think. I hope so. I love the selection there. For the Packers, again, the storyline for the NFL, and I think where they're going to juice the hell out of this season is Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be there, so they're going to put him in a lot of primetime games. And this is one of those Sunday Night Football. It doesn't get much better than that besides, Monday or Thursday. I just think it's a great game. It's a deciding game. Will Aaron Rodgers be 3-0 week 3? We'll have to see. But I think, again, if you're looking at the matchups here, it's a 49ers defense that's going to be healthy. It's an offense that has added weapons. That running back room has like a depth chart that's probably the deepest in the NFL. So I think it'll be a great game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be a great game unless Aaron Rodgers is not the quarterback for the
Right.
Packers at
Mhm.
that time, which I think he will be eventually. I doubt the Packers will actually trade him. Meanwhile, with the 49ers, I think this is a team where they could either go back to how they were a couple of years ago, Super Bowl contenders with an elite defense and a very good rushing attack, or maybe flop, maybe not go back to where they were before and struggle out of the gate. It'll be, and I think a game against a defending NFC leader conference will be a very, very important test for the 49ers. That one that could go either way. And obviously, the Packers will have flashbacks of the NFC Championship where they got ran all over the place. Raheem Mostert dominated that game. We saw obviously the defensive line suffocating Aaron Rodgers. We don't know if that defense will be the same. Lost some important pieces from that 2019 squad, like Quan Alexander, DeForest Buckner, Richard Sherman in the
Solomon
secondary.
Thomas.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many. I think there's so many variables that go into this game, but I think this will be a very telling game to see how these two team seasons will play out, especially if Rodgers is playing in this game.
All right, this one now this is a great game. This one I think Suraj is gonna love. Jaguars Jets, the worst team and the second worst team, or probably the worst team 1A and worst team 1B.
Sure.
Last year obviously we saw Jaguars Jets, Suraj, I know, but they got Zach Wilson and they got Trevor Lawrence. And it's going to be in week 16. So we'll know if these guys are, well, we won't know, but we'll be like, all right, Trevor Lawrence is good and Zach Wilson is good, or obviously the opposite way around. And if Trevor Lawrence is bad, we'll delete the channel. So I think it's telling. I mean, Sunday, 1 p.m. Obviously, it's not one of those star games, but I think this is an important one that people are really underselling. Week 16, if either of these teams somehow are in the playoffs or have the chance of making it, it's going to be a crucial matchup. You're looking at a Jaguars team that has added to the receiver room. You're looking at a Jets team that have really bolstered their offenses, defenses. The Jets had an amazing draft. Somehow the Jaguars messed up their draft, even though they took Trevor Lawrence. But I think it's going to be a huge matchup. You have two really good coaches now. We've just seen the franchise flip around. It's a classic. They get their franchise quarterback, they get their coach, they build around them. We saw the Jets basically in the first 3-4 rounds get Zach Wilson weapons, Michael Carter, obviously Elijah Moore. Now you have Corey Davis in free agency, trading up for Elijah Vera Tucker. I think week 16 is going to be like, all right, we've seen these guys play a full season of football. We know if you're going to be good, and then you're going to see the matchup. So I think it's just going to be a phenomenal game. So I'm really, really excited to see that one.
Yeah, I agree. I think, although definitely for both teams, I think especially the Jets, these teams will likely not be in the playoff contention. Maybe
Probably
the
not.
Jaguars could hard carry this team, but I feel like they're young, up and coming teams with exciting rosters, especially with the Jets where they have weapons for Wilson, like obviously said Davis, but also Keelan Cole, Elijah Moore, Denzel Mims, of course, and you have that offensive line that's slowly being built up. So it'll be a very, very exciting matchup. The top two picks in the NFL draft, and we can see how each career, maybe a glimpse of how each career will pan out in the NFL. And I think it's gonna be an exciting test, see who can handle the pressure better. And I think obviously this will be telling of how their career is gonna go overall, but I feel like it's gonna be an exciting first glimpse at what could be a potential rivalry in the NFL. So for that, I feel like very interesting storyline. And who knows? Again, I wouldn't be that surprised if Jacksonville are like maybe in the hunt for a playoff spot, as we saw. I know this is like a decade ago, but Andrew Luck, who was at the time the Trevor Lawrence of the draft, he carried a terrible Colts roster to the playoffs in his first season. And given how generational of a talent Trevor Lawrence is, I wouldn't be surprised if he does the same with Jacksonville.
Yeah, Suraj, if you're watching this when that happens and Zach Wilson's a bust, I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah.
All Jets fans. All right, let's move on. Halfway there, Bills at Tampa Bay. Again, you're looking at a year. I think Josh Allen will be MVP. I think Josh Allen's gonna take another step if that's possible. Week 14, again, this could be the matchup of the season. Who knows? Obviously, number one probably will be, but in terms of like playoff potential, this could be the matchup of the season. You're looking at a Bills roster that was great last year. They brought back majority of their players. They really went on that offensive line. So hopefully what happened to Patrick Mahomes won't happen to the Bills if they somehow make it to the Super Bowl. If they make it to the Super Bowl, I mean, I'm not saying somehow, it definitely could happen. You're going to be into Buccaneers defensive line. That's incredibly good. Obviously an offensive line as well, led by Ali Marpet. You have, I just think it's the clash of titans. It's the clash of the young versus the new. Who knows? By the end, this might be Tom Brady's last year, so it might be like that matchup that we all remember. It's 35, 42. It's just a really high-scoring game. The Bills go to Tampa Bay. It's going to be warm. Again, it's just one of those games that's eye-peeling. You're looking at a generational talent in Josh Allen, a guy who could be a 4,000 or 5,000 yard passer, a 40-plus touchdown passer, and Tom Brady, who could be repeating what he has done so far. I just think, we've seen what Tom Brady can do against young quarterbacks. And again, I've been saying this after every game. I think it will just be a phenomenal matchup, player-wise and team-wise.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously last year we saw a preview of the Super Bowl with Kansas City and Tampa Bay, which did not at all dictate how the Super Bowl was going to be a matchup. But I feel like maybe, who knows, maybe Bills Bucks will be a preview of this year's Super Bowl. I feel like Tampa Bay, they don't have, I feel like they have the most complete roster easily in the NFC. So it's tough to see who will challenge them early in the season. But Buffalo, they're building up a young roster with a good defense and obviously a franchise caliber quarterback, a decent receiving core. Running back has to be bolstered a bit, but that's not terrible. I feel like this could be a preview of the Super Bowl if both teams live up to their potential. Tampa Bay probably will, but who knows about Buffalo? I think they'll either take a step up or a step back, and that's what makes this matchup really appealing for me. So I think it'll be very, very interesting to see how these two team seasons go, especially the Buffalo.
All right, let's move on now. Packers at Chiefs, Week 9, Sunday, 4:25. The first time, assuming Aaron Rodgers is on the Packers, that we will see him play Patrick Mahomes, if I'm not mistaken. I just, kind of was doing research before that. You're seeing it's like the Tom Brady, Josh Allen. You're seeing Mahomes, who could, dare I say, be the best quarterback ever. No, probably not, but obviously after last time, but one of the best ever, and Aaron Rodgers, who is arguably the most talented quarterback we've ever seen in the NFL. And I think, again, Patrick Mahomes probably is that, because he probably won't live up to the GOAT status that Brady is, but he'll live up to that just raw talent. Again, I think it's just one of those matchups we'll just see an absolute dogfight. You're looking at two defenses that aren't amazing, that have gotten better, but two offenses that are just so high, so much firepower. Receivers, running backs, all that. Re-sign Aaron Jones. You have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who can make a step up. You have an offensive line in Kansas City that somehow became the best in the league after cutting two Pro Bowl tackles, and a guard. I don't know. We'll see. But again, Serge, we've been saying this all along. It's just a great matchup. You see Packers, you see Chiefs. Good game.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think especially if Aaron Rodgers is with the Packers, it will be the first time they will actually match up as starters, as long as neither of them gets injured. Hopefully that they do not get injured. And like I said, it'll be two of the best supporting cast around them, two really great supporting cast. We'll finally get to see that State Farm Bowl. I know a lot of people were hoping
right.
Super Bowl, but we didn't. But obviously, I don't know. State Farm might take an important storyline. So if you have that insurance, you should watch that. But in all seriousness, in football talk, I think it'll be obviously a very interesting matchup with obviously two of the best quarterbacks in the league, but also two of the best supporting casts. Like I said, obviously the Packers did lose Corey Linsley on that offensive line, but still, in my opinion, a top 5 offensive line with Elgton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari.
There we go.
With the Chiefs, obviously, you saw how quickly they were able to rebuild their offensive line. So I think it'll be a very, very interesting matchup between two of the better offensive lines, quarterbacks, wide receivers. Obviously, you have Devontae Adams and with the Packers, and Travis Kelce with the Chiefs. So I think it's a very, very talented matchup, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a shootout, especially with Kevin King in the secondary.
Oh man, had to get that in.
I'm sorry.
All right. We're moving on, and this is just the dogfight games that you just love to see, because it's just going to be a fight, and you're going to see on both sides. Browns at Steelers, Week 17, Monday, 8:15. Surge, what do I need to say? If you're an NFL fan, you just know the rivalry there. You're seeing a Browns team that probably right now is better than the Steelers. Never thought I would say that. A defense that is possibly better than the Steelers. They took a couple of their secondary pieces in the offseason. I forgot, they took Nelson, maybe not Nelson. I think they took Hilton, Steven Nelson.
No, they didn't take Hilton. I don't think so.
No, they took Steven Nelson, I believe. I don't know. They got Greg Newsome. They got Cormo, probably the best draft. This Browns team, we already talked about them. They're gonna be high firing. We saw a team that absolutely smoked the Steelers without a coach. So the Steelers, obviously they play before this. They play week 5, one of the other weeks, but I think this game will be even better because I'm assuming both these teams will be looking at playoffs. I don't know. Again, obviously that quarterback position in Pittsburgh, will it be Dwayne Haskins? Will it still be Big Ben? We'll see. I pray to God. That's kind of like the quarterback position where it's like, good luck. Like, whatever happens. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a dogfight. We know it's going to happen. Some TikToks will hopefully be made. Some arguments will be fired there and back. But Suraj, we know about that. I'm going to be watching that definitely.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, one of the biggest rivalries in the NFL, which always seems to be one team is doing the butt kicking, one team's getting their butt kicked. I think in the 60s, 50s, it was the Browns, and then since then it's been the Steelers, basically. And now, finally, I mean, obviously, my dad's a Steelers fan, but if you're a fan of football, you couldn't help but feel a bit happy for Browns fans that they finally beat they went up to their childhood bully who's been bullying them since like elementary school and high school. You go up to them and punch them in the nose and keep on punching them. That's how it felt really for Cleveland in that playoff game. And now maybe they're trying to think one step further. Let's get to a Super Bowl. Let's win the division. Probably start with that. And
let's
I think
beat the Steelers twice in a year.
Let's beat the Steelers twice. And I mean, why not? That'll be a very important game. Who knows? Maybe a division title's on the line then. Steelers, especially when both of them are good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're getting on to the last two. Bills Chiefs. What is there to say? We saw a matchup that took the Bills out of the Super Bowl. The classic Stephon Diggs picture of him looking at the Chiefs as they celebrate. He's going to want to flip that around. And I think you're looking at a Bills team that, again, it's Josh Allen against Mahomes, two of the most talented players that we've seen in a long time, two quarterbacks that will go down in all great. I think a rivalry that's going to start to spark after this year. You're going to see kind of more of this. You'll probably see more playoff matchups against these teams. I mean, Serge, I'm like, what is there to say? They're just two incredible quarterbacks, incredible coaching staffs. Sean McDermott, how can I not love him? It's just, we love to see it. Again, week 5, Sunday, 8:20. It's a primetime game. The NFL is smart. They're putting the best teams on the biggest stages, and it's going to be a phenomenal game.
I agree 100%. I think, obviously, Josh Allen, Mahomes, I think it'll be a closer matchup. I think the Bills are going to keep getting better. I think they'll close the distance on the Chiefs this year. Not too much, but I still feel like they aren't going to let themselves get killed like they did last year. Obviously, again in Kansas City, but I don't doubt Josh Allen, that offense. Obviously, a couple of the Bills wide receivers, Cole Beasley, we know, is playing injured, and I think he's one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. He's such a huge part of that offensive attack. And if the Bills are really fully healthy on both sides of the ball, I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo was able to make this. Who knows? Maybe they even go to Kansas City and win. I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible. Kansas City are very good, but they're not without flaws. And if they can take advantage of that, I'd say somewhat weak defense, I think the Buffalo would definitely have a good shot. And obviously, the obvious storyline is two of the best teams in the AFC still emerging, still going up, which is very scary considering how talented these teams already are. So I feel like this is definitely a matchup to watch.
Number 1, I'm just going to say it, Serge. I want you to talk about it. You're the one who's like, immediately as the schedule dropped, like, guys, this game's happening. Buccaneers at Patriots, week 4, Sunday, primetime game. If you guys are NFL fans, again, as I've said with these last series games, you know why this could be. If Mac Jones is starting, I'm just going to say it before Serge goes. If Mac Jones is starting,
oh my God, if Mac Jones
this could be one of the best games we see in NFL recent history. If the Patriots are playing at somewhat of a good level, Serge, jump in. I know you want to.
I mean, honestly, I don't care if the Bucs are undefeated and the Patriots are winless going into the season. This is still the best match of the season. I mean, how could you write it any better? Tom Brady, who's been there in New England winning Super Bowls for 20 years, and you think he's going to be a Patriot for life. It's like when they talk about towards the end of the season, like Tom Brady might be leaving the Patriots. Like, no way. He's always been a Patriot. He's never going to leave. And then he leaves.
And wins a Super Bowl.
And now he's coming back. And it must be so bittersweet for New England fans. It's going to be it's going to be a packed house if there are fans, which I think
there definitely will be. I think there will be.
There will be. So it'll be a packed house. I don't know how there will be reactions. Obviously, some happiness, but also some sadness, maybe even some betrayal feelings. It's just going to be it's gonna be a crazy matchup. And like you said, imagine if they have the audacity to start Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Play their future successor to the guy that won him 6 Super Bowls, the rookie, against the GOAT. That would be something else. I honestly kind of hope it will happen, because then that would make for one hell of a storyline. And again, I don't care if the Patriots are the worst team in the NFL, they lose each game by 100. This is must-watch television for more than this season. It's just like it encapsulates what really football has been for the last 20 years. And if you've even watched for the last 5 years, you will understand how much this really means to football, that Tom Brady is going to Gillette Stadium, but not in the silver and blue. I'm sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get if you didn't subscribe because of that, what do you do? I mean, it does not get much better than that, guys. That was amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Make sure to subscribe, guys. If you're new and you watch this video, you know we're going to be coming with so much season content. I know it's a while away, but make sure to subscribe now, turn notifications. We are going to start, if you guys know, coming out with the Buster Boom series, predicting each team's record and just, kind of giving you guys a preview of each team going into the 2021 NFL season. We'll start to pump out that soon, probably in about 2 weeks or a week or so. Again, more content to come, kind of, predictions, power rankings, all that stuff. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. This was Suraj Kadali, Cian McDermott, analyst from the Esports Scoop. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out our social medias, link down below. See you next time.